Are you looking for 10 best things to do in Costa Rica? Costa Rica's strikingly various terrain, lush forests, flora and fauna reserves, and tropical seashores gives a bit something for each traveler. Beach enthusiasts staying alongside the Pacific coast have to head to Guanacaste and the Nicoya Peninsula's palm-fringed shoreline for solar and surf. Nature seekers staying withinside the northern plains or alongside the Caribbean coast have to pay a go to Puerto Viejo de Talamanca earlier than venturing inland to zipline above Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve and hike Arenal Volcano. Whether you are trying to find solar, nature or adventure, there may be a great deal to find out on this paradise, and in case you want a bit steering navigating the country's abundance of herbal wonders, sign on for one of the excellent excursions in Costa Rica. Here is the list of 10 best things to do in Costa Rica. 1. Nicoya Peninsula. The Nicoya Peninsula's glowing 80-mile coastline boasts seashore-centric cities with cream-colored beaches and dense forests. Half of the peninsula is located withinside the Guanacaste province, whilst the opposite half sits withinside the Punta Arenas province. Nisara Beach's powdery sands line the Nicoya Peninsula's western edge. You'll additionally discover fishing and cattle ranching groups east of the country shoreline. After a full-size upward thrust in tourism that started withinside the 1970s, an inflow of eating places and motels have enticed traffic to the peninsula's sandy coast. Recent vacationers spotlight Nisara Beach's splendid sunsets, colorful fish, and turquoise waters as perfect for surfers and seashore enthusiasts alike. But be warned, coloration is minimal and the undertow may be challenging. Sundown walks at the seashore are pretty encouraged. Other warm spots encompass Malpais and Montezuma, a captivating coastal city that boasts less costly inn hotels and untamed splendors like mind-blowing waterfalls and mild cerulean waves. 2. Arenal Volcano. Arenal, one of the world's maximum lively volcanoes, stands extra than 5,000 toes excessive. For the latter half of the 20th century, admirers traveled to its base in droves to seize a glimpse of sparkling rocks and molten lava tumbling down its sides. But Arenal wasn't usually spewing fiery lava, rocks, and ash. The volcano sat dormant for loads of years. However, on July 29, 1968, Arenal wakened from its slumber. A thunderous earthquake shook the vicinity, and a next explosion of lava worn out 3 close-by villages. Frequent eruptions persisted till 2010, while the volcano re-entered a non-lively state. Today, vacationers head to the Arenal Observatory Lodge, which sits in an excellent viewing spot alongside the volcano's northern side. Arenal is regularly hid through a thick layer of fog. However, in case you go to among February and April, you may have a higher hazard of unobstructed views. Recent traffic say it's really well worth the trip. 11. Though at the excellent of the view relies upon closely at the weather, you can hike the park's trails in your very own with only a path map. However, numerous current traffic encouraged hiring a manual to study extra approximately the records of the volcano and the plant life and fauna that inhabit the vicinity.
Close proximity of the provincial capital,
Costa Rica's Gold Coast is one of the nation's
along with its
maximum
international
precise
airport,
locations, and that is now no longer simply due to its secluded
are less than
seashores.
1 hour
The
away.
region's dry, sunny
The area
savannas
receives
comparison
little
to misty
rainfall
cloud
and has
included
consistent
rainforests
excellent
located
weather
in different
from November
components of
through
the
April,
country. To the
resulting in
east, you
striking
may
tropical
recognize
dry
volcanoes
forest
comprising the
surroundings
Cordillera de
and
Guanacaste.
rich
Along
wildlife.
the coast, which extends all of the manor to the
Guanacaste
Nicaraguan border,
culture is
you may
unique to
discover
Costa
wallet
Rica
of white
and
sand
is
flanking
historically set
motels
apart from
and
the rest of the
far-off
country
fishing
with its
villages.
laid-back,
Further
relaxed
inland, you may
lifestyle,
find out a thriving
much of
cowboy
which is focused
subculture
around
that has flourished
cultivation of
due
the
to the
land
fact that
and
Spanish
the local
colonial rule
sabaneros.
within the 19th
There are many
century.
great
More
activities in the
exquisite
area.
highlights encompass
The
the
Buena Vista
prestige,
tour will take you
palm-studded
above
Playa
and
Carrillo
below the
seashore
canopy
and
of
the
the
Rincon
forest,
de El.
and the thermal volcanic hot
Vieja
springs
National
are the
Park.
perfect place
Another
to
must-see
relax
appeal is the
after
Santa
a
Rosa
long,
National
adventurous
Park,
day.
a UNESCO World Heritage
Discover the
Web
rich
website
aquatic
online
life
that preserves the
in the
web
clear waters
website
of the
online of
Pacific
the
Ocean.
1856
Whilst
Battle of
diving
Santa
amongst the famous
Rosa.
Catalina
Recent
Islands.
vacationers especially
Here you will
endorse
find
traveling
over
Rincon de
25
El.
great dive spots that are
Vieja
very
National
popular.
Park, which boasts
Some
warm
of Costa Rica's
springs and
best
exquisite
sport fishing
waterfalls.
is
You'll
found
additionally
along
get to peer a
Guanacaste's
few
rocky
incredible
shoreline.
volcanic activity.
Providing
For Corcovado National Park, travelers come to this 160 rectangular mile misty rainforest for its various flora and fauna. Buzzing bugs and chirping birds may be visible and heard as you walk through the verdant jungle. Trek alongside the hazy trails, and you are in all likelihood to identify macaws, tapirs, jaguars, spiders, or howler monkeys. Recent traffic cautioned arriving early withinside the day to growth flora and fauna sightings. However, regardless of whilst you go, there could be lots to peer. To completely revel in all of Corcovado's attractions and sounds, you may need to carve out 3 days for exploring. If you want a damage from trekking, Head to the 23 miles of seashores, however be warned the sand is warm. 5. Manuel Antonio National Park. Manuel Antonio National Park is one in every of Costa Rica's smallest blanketed and experienced spaces. However, do not permit its length throw you off. Within the park's 3 rectangular miles, you may discover untamed seashores, secluded coves, nature trails, and a thick rainforest. You can stretch out at the park's shoreline or wander alongside one of the on-foot paths to identify uncommon birds, camouflaged iguanas, and purple and orange crabs. If you are a lover of hairy creatures, you will be thrilled to find out that this park consists of such a lot of monkeys that the park constructed a suspension bridge to furnish them loose rein of the vicinity. Travelers endorse traveling Manuel Antonio's far-off white sand seashores with inside the southeastern tip of the park wherein traffic can loosen up below palm timber. Reviewers additionally endorse bringing a picnic lunch to experience. However, you may need to look at your meals intently because the monkeys were acknowledged to thieve meals. To experience the park's untouched panorama without the crowds, remember arriving proper while the park opens at 7 a.m. 6. Monteverde Cloud Forest Biological Reserve. Imagine winding through a misty oasis. Strikingly tall timber wrap you in a sea of inexperienced. Add to that extra than 100 mammals, 400 styles of birds, and 2,500 plant species, and you've got Monteverde's lush 25,700-acre reserve. While wandering alongside one of the trekking trails, you could spot a small hummingbird or a resplendent quetzal feasting on a ripe aguacatillo, although a few vacationers whinge approximately the excessive frequency of vacationers and the laborious trek to the reserve. Maximum reward the wooded area as a must-see instance of Costa Rica's wealthy flora and fauna diversity. Recent traffic encouraged taking a skywalk or sky trek excursion to keep away from the crowds and spot the reserve from an aerial view. For extra information, seek advice from Skytrek's respectable website. If you would favor to live at the ground, the reserve additionally gives guided on-foot excursions year-round. Past traffic pretty endorse hiring a manual in case you've come to the reserve searching for flora and fauna. 7. Puerto Viejo de Talamanca. The village of Puerto Viejo de Talamanca, positioned on Costa Rica's Caribbean coast, comes alive with reggae music, funky bamboo bars, and a wild nightlife. Surfers crowd coconut-fringed Cockles Beach. Nature enthusiasts mission inland to discover rainforests, and foodies test out downtown's delectable cuisine. Off the overwhelmed path, you may discover dusty cycling, and on footpaths jogging through tropical farms and gardens. Along the coast, you may find out far-off bungalows and empty stretches of sand. Travelers endorse traveling Playa Negra's black sand seashore, positioned withinside the northwest quid of Puerto Viejo de Talamanca. For a much less touristy retreat, visit among September and October for the excellent hazard of daylight on this regularly damp, tropical region. 8. Jaco. Far from northern Costa Rica's foggy rainforest lies Jaco, a lovely city teeming with shops, eating places, and beachfront motels. It's additionally the nearest beachside retreat to San Jose, the country's capital. Surfers have to mission to Hermosa and Estirillo's sprawling palm-covered beaches for the excellent waves. If you are seeking out a peaceful seashore day sans the waves, remember Playa Mantas and Playa Blanca, seashores famous with locals. Nature seekers have to head to flora and fauna havens just like the Pura Vida Gardens and waterfalls to identify the vicinities like residents, colorful birds, and monkeys, and stare upon the hovering coastal mountains. Whatever you do, store a few strength for the energetic nighttime scene, which is understood for its adults' best activities. Recent vacationers spotlight one predominant drawback: the city's popularity. But in case you do not thought sharing this sprawling seashore retreat with others, preceding traffic stated it is really well worth an afternoon for. 9. La Paz Waterfall Gardens. Short for Catarata La Paz, La Paz can also additionally appear quiet and nonetheless in the beginning glance, but take every other look and you will discover this rainforest humming with activity, from croaking frogs and fluttering butterflies to rumbling jaguars and howling spider monkeys. There are lots of creatures to be located on this flora and fauna lovers' paradise, and there may be a great deal for nature seekers to recognize too. From the garden's 5 flowing waterfalls to its colorful orchids and sea of leafy inexperienced canopies, recent vacationers stated it's far a must-see for each first-time vacationer to Costa Rica, describing the waterfalls as amazingly lovely. Others had been thrilled with the pleasant and informed staff. If you do not need to pay the admission price, you could see the waterfalls from the highway, in keeping with traffic. but many stated the doorway expenses had been really well worth the revel in. 10. Tabacan Hot Springs. If you trek to Arenal Volcano to witness its looming presence for yourself, store time to wash with inside the Tabacan's high-priced thermal springs with its serene flowing waterfalls, tropical foliage, and mineral-wealthy herbal springs. It is no surprise the Tabacan Grand Spa Thermal Resort charges a quite penny, but its outstanding springs and spa remedies will go away you swooning. Visitors name it enjoyable and exquisite with remarkable facilities. An on-hand tip from Beyond Vacationers. Bring water footwear to shield your toes as you stroll from one pool to every other. The springs are 97% rainwater and 3% magma, and subsequent to the thermal baths, you may discover Tabacan's top-notch Grand Spa, which boasts volcanic dust wraps, coconut and espresso exfoliations, and meditation trails. Though Beyond visitors bemoan the presence of vacationer bus crowds, many nonetheless stated that is a must-do, specifically in case you're seeking out a chilled afternoon.